Yeah, I think it's pretty okay. Well, I think it's sus that you bring your own definition to the battle. That's what I think. That's a problem.
Yeah,
You can't
all
do that,
definitions are
man.
subjective.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, we have to agree on a definition, and that's why I said that there's multiple definitions.
Yeah.
Are you doing the dictionary fallacy?
Now, I'm coming as a dirty Protestant, okay? So I'm going to be on your side for some things, but for that, you could use some improvement. All right?
Whether words are fictions of our imagination that describe ideas based on other ideas that are based on
Yeah,
other
when you
ideas
start talking
differently,
like that, when we're trying to talk about topics that matter, that really just destroys everything and makes everything garbage completely. So I would
or
recommend you
it
don't do that
proves,
at all.
okay, fine, there's only one definition of cult. Do we agree on it?
No, it since it's since it seems to be up for debate, it's worth working on the definition early in the discussion. Um, I think normally a leader would be involved or an authority organization, at least maybe an oligarchy, if you're thinking about a cult. But when we think about cults, we're thinking Kool Aid, we're thinking um, Latter day Saints, we're thinking Mormons. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you might be.
Well, leaders are typically involved in cults, in my most people's opinions, and MAGA would definitely be a cult because Trump is the leader who can do no wrong in that situation.
Okay, cool.
I'll be on your side for the Christian stuff, though. Well, probably most of it. I'm a dirty Protestant, so.
No, he believes in the Aristotelian God. Oh shit. Oh, yeah, Aristotelian God. He's not Christian.
Oh, you're not a Christian? Oh, okay. What's a Aristotelian god?
Aristotle.
Oh, yeah, I'm not familiar. I haven't studied philosophy. I'm
Hey,
new to
whatever.
philosophy. I'm new.
You should be learning tons of philosophy at over at Bloodbath. What's going on?
Well, I mean, I only have,
Did you give up
so
on it?
much. No, well, I have other stuff that I want to do too. Look, I've studied like theology stuff and I like science stuff and cosmology stuff. I like a lot of stuff, but philosophy is newer to me and
Blah, blah,
Mega
blah.
Bloodbath has, helped with that some, but um yeah, that's new to me. What is the Restitilian god?
You want to explain that, um, Buster?
Just read metaphysics, and then it's like kind of a container of all potentiality, and therefore it's theistic because of the existence of will and all of these other things.
So
I don't really know.
self-evident based on what we observe.
Sure, I don't know what it has to do with
Yeah, you see how
whether
simple that
atheism is the
was?
cult.
Wow, looks like I didn't need to read it. Thanks.
Oh, that was amazing.
Well, I thought you wanted to know exactly what it is, but that's fine. I mean,
Well, it sounds
yeah,
like
I'll
I
agree with you.
know exactly. I understand it now. Thank you.
Oh shit! Not want to open two discords. Did it again. There we
Well,
go.
I think that the self-evident, that would be a self-evident claim. So you would be a presup, right? Presuppositionalist.
I think they
Would
can
you say?
align a bit.
Presuppositionalist.
Well, basically, like, do you think that, Buster, do you think that like God is necessary for logic, intelligibility, things like that?
Depends on your perspective, right? Some people say no, some people say it's a brute fact. Some people say that it is just whatever we call anything that acts any way, right? And that's order. I don't even think it matters what you think about it. Like we kind of just covered that 5 minutes ago or so.
Yeah, right. And we and we impassed on it, right? It's so much fun.
No, that's cool.
So for the
Go ahead, buddy.
no, I agree that God is the basis for all knowledge and information and every truth and everything as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it requires a God. I think at a minimum we just require faith to appeal to logic so that we can be rational beings. Otherwise, we're having conversations with people who don't even think they exist, right? I think everything's an act of faith. Absolutely.
Everything's an act
Well,
of faith. Okay.
so you don't have enough faith to be an atheist?
Sure, you could put it that way. Or not enough faith,
Well,
just a
he's
different faith.
presup, right? He's presup atheist.
No.
Yeah. Well, actually, all atheists are presup.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Where did the universe come from?
What do you think the answer to that's going to be?
Something you presup, something I presup, something we all presup.
Like our own existence.
What do you think about that, Niddy?
Well, I didn't necessarily presuppose that the universe always existed, so
Well, what do you presuppose then? Because that's all there is presup. What do you presup?
oh my
The
goodness.
singularity? Hold on,
We
Niddy.
know that
Go
we
here
know
with me on the
what we're
cosmology.
doing when we say
Wait,
presup, though.
wait. Go here with me on the cosmology, though, Niddy. The singularity. I don't know your position on the origin of the universe. Do you believe in Big Bang singularity thing?
I think that the Big Bang cosmology is just about the origination of our current space-time, not necessarily the existence of all things. So it'd be a
Okay.
brute fact that whatever preceded the Big Bang, whatever model, whatever system, etc., existed prior, and so on and so forth. So yes, it does regress into just a fact of the matter that there was a universe, but I only have ever presupposed that in the sense that for my finite existence, I mean, until I started consciously thinking about that as an idea. Probably one of the best
Right.
ways I can
So,
put it.
well, there must be an explanation. There must be one of all the others. One is the truth. And the Big Bang I think is a good, could be a model for how we got to this situation from the
Current space
origin.
time.
Right. I think it could be, so that would be like intelligent design
But I
belief.
don't know for sure. No.
But the
You should
origin
know
of the
the answer
universe
to that
itself.
question is
So,
no.
well, what I'm saying is the origin of the universe itself That is what's in question. And people say the singularity, and when they say that, they really just mean something they don't know. That's a point where physics breaks down. So, in my view, when people talk about magic, that's kind of where physics breaks down. So, the singularity just sounds like a presupposition of just some magic happening. And that's my view on that. Singularity.
So, is it your position that, say, 500 years ago, lightning was magic? Because we didn't have the laws
That's
of
exactly
physics.
what I was gonna go for.
Because we don't have an explanation, but we do have an explanation that all physics must break down at this point.
No, we don't.
We know that.
Not must.
The
There's no
physics we
like
have
Yes.
now, the physics we know
mustiness.
about now breaks down. That isn't that all physics
Well,
break down. There because we know there's physics we don't know about.
right, there is probably physics we don't know about, for sure. So what does that mean?
That means that we don't know if physics breaks down at the singularity or not.
It is correct. The proposition is not, well, I guess we don't have an explanation, therefore magic. Like, just because you lack a complete account or something, it doesn't follow that your belief is then magic. And it's not science of the gaps if you just say, if you say, we will discover it, I think you're more
So,
guilty of science of the gaps than just saying it could be
so,
discovered.
so
Mm.
would you claim there's an infinite regression possible in physics?
I don't see
You
why.
would have to claim that
I don't see why it
because
is. I don't see why it's impossible. But again, I mean,
Right. There's no.
Go ahead, Niddy.
No, I mean in our current I think in our current use and understanding of physics that we would probably say not in our current instantiation of space-time do we have in evidence of infinite regress, but that doesn't mean it's impossible for a system to have always existed. Like, just
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
is that
There's
not a
It's like saying,
presupposition? Is that not a presupposition of alien physics we don't know about? Like maybe God exists and created the universe. So I guess maybe my point is more our positions aren't that far apart.
well.
You know what I mean?
I
Because you have to believe in all of this to believe in your worldview for that to make sense,
I
you
think you're
know?
misunderstanding
no.
my position and
Yes.
probably Niddy's too.
No, you have to believe in a lot. You have to have a lot of faith that physics broke down at the origin of the universe and then the Big Bang happened from some unknown physics, magic physics, I'm going to call it. It's woo woo atheist magic that made the
See,
universe happen.
you're,
And,
oh my
well,
God.
here's how I feel on it. I'm letting you know. It's woo woo atheist magic. The singularity created the universe. It's atheist woo woo magic.
So you don't even understand our position. Like you
Right.
because if you knew what our position was, you wouldn't be saying
Well,
what
you
you're
don't
saying.
know what it is. It's a miracle. It's a
No,
miracle, isn't it? It
no,
is a miracle.
I don't know.
Yes, it is. No, it's a miracle. It's an atheist
You just,
miracle. The origin of the
you're kind of
universe is an
acting like playing
atheist
chess with a
miracle.
pigeon. You're just saying, my explanation wins. Like
No,
miracle.
hold on,
I
hold
say
on. No,
miracle. Flip
it is
table.
an atheist miracle.
I'm
The
sorry. That
origin
was
of the
mean.
universe is an atheist miracle.
So tell me, which model do I
That's
believe in?
crazy.
Which of the half a dozen or so models of the Big Bang that are physical based do I believe in?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either because I don't believe in any of them. I also don't believe
Well,
it's
I'm asking
necessarily
about the
physical.
origin of the universe,
So,
though.
but I am too. I don't know if you realize that, but I am talking about the origin of the universe too. There's about
Okay.
a half dozen live models of what the origin of the universe looks like.
Presuppositions. Atheist presuppositions, right?
No, because nobody says those are what's true.
Oh, okay. Well, they're different presups, then. You would agree?
Different precepts. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. No, they're different models, they're different presups. My presup is that God created the universe, and your presup is one of the many that you said.
No, my precept is I don't believe in any of them. I don't presuppose any of those models.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's your presup.
My
All
precept is
right.
that I don't presup. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I guess you're right there. I mean, I would agree with you. I do have some
That's
presup.
magic. It's a miracle. It happened by a miracle.
I didn't say that. Uh, how do you think I define a miracle?
Something where physics breaks. You can't explain it.
No, that's not how I define a miracle. Because first of
Our
all,
our understanding of reality is breached in
no, I
some
don't.
way.
I don't think that's not my definition of a miracle either.
Okay, I don't
Because
know your definition.
yeah, because but here's the thing. Like, if you were what you're saying is like we talked about 5 minutes ago or 10 minutes ago, however long ago. 500 years ago, lightning would have been a miracle, but now we don't think it's a miracle. So, like, it's weird to me that you say because we don't know, I must say I must think it's a miracle, and um, I don't know. To me, a miracle, I would define a miracle as having a non-physical cause. And whether that's possible or not, I
Well,
don't
that's the
know.
singularity. That's the origin of the universe. You do have to answer for that.
I
You
don't have.
should. You
Why?
really should.
Why? I don't even believe. I'm not even sure I believe there was a singularity.
That's
You don't. Okay. How
well.
did
Then
we
you're
get here? How did we get
well.
here?
Then you.
That's what I
One
want to
second,
talk about. How did we get here? How
Um,
did
because
the universe get here?
we don't know. Like we don't have an answer for that.
right.
Well, you do have some. We have models like the Big Bang, inflation.
Those are the
Um,
same thing.
well, yeah, that's part of the Big Bang. Yeah. The planking universes where the cosmological balls smack together.
The
You know
what?
what I mean?
I've not heard that model, but that sounds pretty
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, it's a
There's
crazy one.
yeah, there's there's cyclical conformal models. There's Hartle-Hawking no boundary models. There's what is the Big Bang Big Crunch.
Yeah, the
Um,
crunch.
those are all possible models, but we don't have a way of saying any of them. And I don't even think that um, it's necessarily one of those. I think it could have been a miracle. I think it could have been God, but we don't have any way of saying any model of him is the correct one.
Um, well, I think that God creating the universe is a very reasonable model. Um, but yes, I understand these other things too. I just want to highlight how similar you have to put a lot of belief into not having any idea how we got here and just being like, we don't know. It's anything but God.
I didn't. I
Can't be God. It's anything but that.
did you not hear me just say I think it could have been God? Like that's like not anything. That is not
Well,
anything but
okay,
God.
okay. I was all right. Okay. Well, the atheist view is pretty similar in amount of faith. In fact, the atheists have to believe in probably more than Christians do, have more faith that the universe got here from unknown for
Can I
no
ask you a
purpose.
semi-serious question?
Yeah.
How many times a week do you listen to Frank Turek or William Lane Craig?
Zero for a while, but I have listened to William Lane Craig before in his debates, and I'm familiar with the Kalam cosmological argument for sure.
Because to me, I honestly feel like there was a Xerox machine, like when you saw Frank Turek, like the lid to a Xerox machine opened up, and then like what he said just went beep and printed off in there, and that like we got the print off.
Oh, really? No, I haven't listened to him.
It was like verbatim. It's
Really?
crazy.
That is pretty
Yes.
crazy. I'm not watched enough Turk to know to have like I knew the I don't have enough faith
Dang.
is from Turk.
No, that was my own very flawed version of whatever I said. I
That was
haven't
the
heard
most
that guy.
then you've had the most subliminal injection of a meme. Like,
Oh,
look,
nice. All right, we'll meme
I'm
it then.
sure,
Let's go.
I'm sure that it happens to us non-believers too, right?
Wow.
Like, I listen to Mindshift all the time, right? And I could say something like, well, you know, guys, I love you. Let me leave with you. Keep thinking. Right? If I started saying like keep thinking at the end of every exit to my YouTube videos, like people would rightly suspect that I absorb a lot of, mind shift content, right? Or like you have reached true gnosis, right? They would know
Dude,
that
have
I
I been
spend too much
dropping
time with Neo.
breadcrumbs of some guy named Turek?
Yeah,
Is
a
that
little
what you're
bit.
saying?
A little bit.
Little
Are you
bit.
serious?
The whole loaf.
Is this multiple discovery? Look, I have been acting out. I understand that, but is this multiple meme discovery right now? Am I memeing unknowingly? That's good. That's fine. It's
It's well,
deserving.
honestly, it is kind of fascinating because the way you framed, like when you said atheists have to believe in a lot of miracles, and you listed off the different things that we should be categorizing as miracles, like starting with that phrase, like atheists have to believe in this miracle and that miracle, that bit, it like I'm sure for like almost everyone in my chat who consumes too much of this content, we all went like, uh, are we watching the start of a Daily Dose of Wisdom video, a Turek appearance? Like, because it literally starts
Oh,
like that,
I'm
and then
probably saying some
Turek
low
will
level
like
stuff. My bad.
he'll like live. No, it's not low level. You right? This is like okay. I I think you're communicating in earnest, and I don't think that it's low level.
All right.
Because this is probably like is that how you're like, so have you ever really heard it like framed that way, in the way that
Dude, I have
you
no idea who Turek is, bro. I have no
it's okay. No, no,
idea
no, no,
who
no, no,
that
no.
is.
I'll believe you. I'm a person who will believe people's testimony
Is
of
his
their self-reporting rather.
okay. Look, maybe I saw him, but he's not on my radar right now. Look, I've heard of Jim Bob, and the pre-sup comes from that guy.
Jay Dyer.
Yes, Dyer. Yep.
He's a big one for that.
So I've heard of Dyer.
There's other ones too. There's Joel Setcase over at Think Institute. There's what's his nuts? Wi-Fi Gospel. There's a bunch
Okay,
of
yep,
them.
I've heard of that. I've definitely watched William Lane Craig debates for sure.
Yeah, but he's
That
not
was-
a precept.
No, he's not. But that was so enjoyable for me. I think that was enjoyable
yeah?
for every Christian going through those. No, I am a fan of the Kalam cosmological argument. I do like that one. It's that everything that begins to exist has a cause. That's number one. Number two is the universe began to exist. Conclusion is therefore the universe has a cause.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm
It's a
fan
perfectly
of that.
valid argument.
like
I
it.
agree.
I like it. I like it. So that's why I like to talk about the beginning, the first part of that. What actually is up with that initial part? The beginning to exist, the cause, right? And
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. It is a very intriguing question. What's going on at the singularity? That's probably why we spend a lot of time talking about it and studying it and trying to figure out what's going on. But yeah, I would agree with you. It is very interesting.
okay, I'm gonna do some more thinking on my approach for this discussion for next time. I see in the chat, and shout out to Titan Uranus official for getting the link to get me on this VC. He said,
Yeah, I don't know what's up with YouTube. I mean, crazy.
"Oh yeah, Niddy, you were trying to drop the link and YouTube was blocking it for some reason. That's crazy."
Oh, it was blocking the link in your own chat, Niddy?
From him.
Yeah, dude.
Huh.
Like what?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Do you know Phyllis over,
Hey.
Niddy? Are you familiar with him?
I've seen it come across my feed. Should I be over there?
Oh, he's a pretty chill guy, but every once in a while he tries to drop links in his chat, and I have to drop them for him because they won't post them for me and for some
Crazy
reason.
shit.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, I've been able to pin. Oh, you know what? Honestly, I think, does Phil Sober use OBS?
No, he uses Restream.
Weird. It's probably something with their like RMTP server and its connection to chat. Because I can't post links even in my OBS chat. So
Yeah.
maybe
Well,
there's something just wrong.
one of your links did get
it's
through.
Probably
he
then
did
it's something weird.
he did mention something
Yeah.
about it not doing when he tries to paste it in Restream one time.
Yeah, there's something on the interaction between the communication. I'm a stupid web developer.
Me too.
Communication,
Nice. High five.
the
dude.
communication protocols. There must be something up between, or there's like some weird filtering thing happening. It's probably something that's not obvious at the outset. I can ask. We should ask the robots or look on the forums and see if people are bitching about it. So you're a web developer, Zill?
Indeed, dude. I'm a full stack. I even do AWS.
Oh boy. So like, what do you primarily without giving away your
JavaScript.
trade secret? Okay, like are you React person? Vue?
Yep, React. And then I haven't been into React Native lately, but that's the mobile solution. I use it some. And then AWS, I just got into ECS, which is Docker Container Launching, which is like Kubernetes managed and stuff. That's the
Okay.
newest thing. I used to be hosting on EC2s, which are more expensive, which are 24/7 containers. Anyways, man, yeah, I'd be all over the stack. API front end and Node on the API side.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty much what I work with, except for the AWS, Kubernetes, and I just don't.
So you
I
find
really
other
don't
hosting
do.
solutions. That's fine. Yeah.
But
No, like the other sector of our dev team does that, and then I just focus on the UI components and interactions.
but Nitty,
Nice, nice, dude. We'll have to collab
Yeah.
on something sometime.
how can
No, I
you
ain't got time for that shit.
how can
Sorry,
you
I'll just tell you no right now.
Yep, that's cool.
Phantom?
I was going to say, how can you be a web developer if you don't know where the universe came from?
Fuck, I don't know.
It's a great question.
It's all that stupid logic I use every day.
Well, we're on different sides and we're both using logic.
One would hope.
Well, I'm pre-supping
Uh,
God created the universe. You're pre-supping the singularity created the universe. You understand?
If you say so, I would disagree, but that's
Okay,
fine.
well, let's talk about the disagreement.
Okay. I cannot presuppose that the singularity created anything if I don't even know that the singularity happened.
Well, you're presupposed, even if it's nothing that created the universe, you're presupposing that.
No, I'm not presuppose. I can't presuppose something if I don't have a belief about it. Like I'm not.
Well, you have,
I
so there has to be, there's a binary, okay? Either the universe did begin to exist or it had an infinite past. That's a binary. Would you agree?
um. I know. I would say there's probably a third option because like there's
What
some
would be the
theories of.
third option?
Well, if you wouldn't interrupt me, you would have heard. Um. So there's certain theories of quantum gravity because we don't have any understanding of quantum gravity right now. But there's some theories that have loop quantum gravity, and that implies that time at the quantum level is more like a web instead of a straight line. In which case, there the idea that there is a single cause or a linear way that the universe was at the quantum level may not even be correct.
Okay. Yeah, the quantum physics part of reality does change things a lot. Okay, so
But that's the problem with the singularity
quantum
is it's
time,
quantum.
have there been experiments on quantum time or is that what you're saying?
We have not ever
Or there's
success.
been
There's never been any.
theories?
There's never been any successful experiments quantizing gravity, and so we don't have a theory of quantum gravity right now.
Okay.
Like I said, I don't know if I was talking to you or to Cheeks over there. I forget his name. But I mentioned that we know our physics is not complete, and that's one of the places we know it's incomplete is quantum gravity. We don't have a theory of it.
Okay. So would you say you're a person who says it's fully plausible God exists and created the universe and physics?
Yeah, I would say that.
So you're not an atheist.
It depends on the definition of atheist. A lot of people, other than certain types of theists, say atheism is a belief there is no God or a lack of belief in gods. I do not have a belief in the existence of God, so by that definition, I am an atheist.
Okay. Dude, it's so crazy because this discussion happens in so many spaces on the internet all the time and has happened throughout humanity for all of time. And there's still confusion on the definition of atheism versus agnosticism.
Well,
or
that's because
agnosticism.
certain people try to.
It's crazy, dude, right?
Instead of allowing just people to use the words that they're using, certain people say, "No, my definition is the correct one," and that's not how language
Right,
works.
right. And in good faith discussions, you shouldn't try to sneak in your own definition when you're talking. You should use the colloquial one unless you define your own definition ahead of time, right?
Yeah, yeah, and the
So
colloquial
getting
definition of atheism includes my position.
right. Okay, yeah. Oh,
So,
okay. Hold on. Let me think about this. Okay. Well, okay. The colloquial of atheism. I thought that the colloquial of atheism was an assertion that God did not exist.
no, no, it's also the position
So
of
it's not
lack of
that?
belief.
Yeah, spend more time with us. You'll know that that's generally how we're trying to use it.
Okay,
But I
okay.
think
That's fine.
that it's time for me to close up my broadcast. Buster, I want to thank you for having me on and
Okay.
talking. I'll
I'm
be
gonna
thinking
jump
about
off
the
Hey,
too.
so
metaphysics
thanks so
some
much
more.
for being here, guys. I really
Yep.
appreciate the time, Niddy. Zill,
Oh, of
I'm sure
course.
we'll talk later. And Phantom, it
Yep.
was a blast, bro. Gave me stuff to think about, and I hope you guys have a
All right,
great
man.
day.
Are you shutting down
Yeah,
too,
thanks. No,
Buster?
Buster goes forever.
Oh, okay. I can
He'll
stay on
talk your
for.
ear off.
Infinite Regress live stream.
I can stay on for
It is
10,
true.
15 more minutes probably.
All right, what the fuck am I doing? Hold on a second. My OBS actually got all messed up just now. It's like, oh my god. Oh, jeez. Where is my... All my buttons
Well, he was
are
an
like
interesting fellow.
everywhere.
That Zill. Yeah, I've never talked to Zill before.
Do you... Yeah, he has showed up on tacos before, but do you have any questions? Since I need to work on my stuff for a hot second, do you have any other questions for me, Buster?
Not particularly. I generally just let people come up and state their position. If they want to debate, we can do that. Sometimes it gets sidetracked like it just did. Um, I'm open to whatever, as long as it,
Okay.
Is semi intellectual, I suppose. Like if it gives us something to think about, then I'm interested in it. I don't do politics or anything like that. It
I
just
hate
doesn't interest
politics.
me. Right. But other than
I
that,
am with politics. Oi.
oh,
The
you're into
worst.
politics?
I'm into it, but like if you start grilling me on like other historical stuff, you can probably make me look pretty dumb.
Oh, that's an interesting topic that's always fun, and I sound like a ridiculous person when I share my opinion on historical truth. So me, um, there's unless I can prove it right now or I experience it in my own phenomenon, right? Like I'll say something like, I don't even know if George Washington existed. Do you guys put a lot of faith in history, or do you guys not put a lot of faith in history, like recorded history, whatever you're digesting
I
or whatever's fed to you?
I usually apportion it to the claim, right? So like, oh hey, Lil's a historian. Yeah, my chat will help me out if I'm screwing stuff up. But yeah, oh, maybe it's my presuppositions getting in the way. But in general, right? And I just don't auto accept like recorded miracle claims, right? Because if we did that, then we'd all be like Hindu
Well,
or in extreme cognitive dissonance all the time.
so let me ask you this, Niddy. Do you think Alexander the Great cut the Gordian knot?
See, I don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
Okay.
I don't even know if Alexander the Great existed.
So
See, I think that our archaeological, I don't have it offhand, but I know there's archaeological evidence and lots of what are the word competing sources, unfriendly sources for that.
oh yeah.
The shaping of nations throughout history would be contingent on shit that happened. The Grecian Empire at the time, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the four empires that split off of it. I think it was
Yeah,
four.
the Seleucid Empire,
Ptolemy.
Ptolemy. Help. Those are like the two easy ones.
Yeah. um.
And
Okay.
then I'd say Hercules,
See,
right?
I would say
Well, yeah, I
Hercules is
mean,
probably not historical.
maybe you
Right.
could
It's just a
pull
book written a
the
long time ago.
Jesus stuff, right? There's a super strong mofo, but you memorized him and were like, demigod, he's so strong, demigod. He's like
Yeah,
Arnold Schwarzenegger
we have
or
an
something.
archaeology guy here, and he studies like ancient stuff, like 50,000 years ago and 500,000 years
Whoa.
ago and stuff like that.
Wow.
And so
Archaeology,
uh,
what? Oh,
or
okay.
historian slash archaeologist, right? Like those are the things he's interested in. He's a really smart guy. His name's Ligma, and we were
Art,
playing with this theory of that people are. I
there's
don't know
so many
anything about
issues.
archaeology, right, or history. Um, but that's just me. One, I'm not interested in it. B, I mean, I don't know if that's the case, right? It could have been anything, right? You could even play the what is it, like the creationist theory, like the built-in age idea or something like that. Like, I
You,
guess it's possible.
Oh, last Thursdayism or some version of it only 6,000 years ago.
yeah, basically.
Uh,
Last
yeah.
first day creationism.
So yeah, for me, we were talking about this concept that people with like more Neanderthal DNA would appear some cases like I mean, they would in a sense kind of have like super human strength, right? Because they were superior to us modern humans in strength. And we were just playing with that idea, which is interesting. I don't know. I guess it depends on what your definition of rationality, right? I think you can make rational decisions based on things you can prove right now. But some people would say, like, well, you're always appealing to some sort of faith, right? To
So
even think you exist.
so I have a
And so, like
go,
me, oh, sorry, go ahead.
so sorry. But you say you don't believe in things that you can't prove on your own or phenomenally experience. I think that's what you said.
Yeah, I would say that that's an appeal to rationality. Like, rationality is built on logic and it makes sense. And then you can, like, but you can't prove it. So then you use Occam's razor, right? And then, like, something like staying on 20, you don't know it's always the right decision, but it's a rational decision to stay on 20 because you don't have the information to know if it was the right decision until after you bust or get an ace,
Gotcha. Okay.
right? So it's rational to stay on 20. So I actually think that Christians are fairly rational. Any religion, really. But I think it is a rational stance because you get to this problem with like purpose of things, right?
All
And
right,
then
I am for real
unless you
gonna
know
duck
the
now.
All right.
But
See you, Niddy.
yeah,
thanks again,
take
Buster.
it easy. Yes, sir. Thank you for being here.
So how do you get to God?
Um, so I think what it does for Christians, and I think you would agree that unless you're like very, I was never an atheist, right? I was agnostic. I didn't care if God existed, but I did like I loved Christopher Hitchens, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I had like this anti-religion thing, and then as I got older, I was like, yeah, religion's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It has utility, and
Sure.
so from there, I think the reason why it's rational for people to end up with um, even a Christian God is because of the explanatory power and the utility it has in their life. And if, some people would say, well, I don't have that much faith. And that's like, that's fine, but you still have faith all the time. That's what in many cases, you're rationalizing things because you don't know. right? So that's why I think it's reasonable. That's why when I talk to Christians, I'm not like, what a lunatic, right? Sure there are lunatics, but I wouldn't say it's like that they're always right. And that's why I think it's rational, because it adds an answer for purpose, right? Which is the same thing like the existentialists do. They're all doing the same thing. They're all using a leap of faith, so to speak, um, to determine the purpose for their own existence. So to me, it's like the same thing, you know. And I would argue that most people agree that religion is dealing with the answer for why you even are, you know. So that makes sense to me. It's a good answer.
Okay. So, so something you said there. You think picking that you say someone living their life says, you know what, I like I like basketball, so I'm going to make my purpose in life to play basketball. You say that's a leap of faith?
Yeah, because they couldn't even necessarily prove there is a purpose, right? That's what every existentialist deals with.
Well, I
There
mean,
is no purpose, so we invent our own.
yeah, but I don't see how that's a leap of faith. Like, why do you say that's a leap of faith?
Because you're assuming you have a purpose would be the first thing, right?
Um,
And then you'd also be assuming that that's the right choice.
Sorry, you broke up there. You're assuming what?
Oh, wait, give me 1 second. Phantom, can you hear me better now, bud?
Much better.
Awesome. Sorry, it was a Bluetooth slash Wi-Fi coincidence. So I would say it's a leap of faith to think you even are doing the right thing in the first place, because if doing the right thing is subjective, then there's no grounding for it. And if it's objective, then you don't know if it's right.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay, so it's what you're saying is it's not necessarily a leap of faith to say I'm going to make my purpose this. The leap of faith is that there is no objective purpose for your life, and so you're creating your own. Is that what?
Right. That's kind of like an act of will, right? And you're basing it on this rational uh, conclusion you've come to. Hopefully, I wouldn't even say it's necessarily rational, right? If it's not like if there's it's a rational choice to say it's going to be heads or tails, and it's a possible choice to say it's going to land on its side or fly into space or never land or something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
it's not really rational to say. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Right. So it's a leap of faith that it's going to land on heads or tails, because it's a rational choice. It's not a proven choice, right? Now you would say it's irrational to think it's not going to land on heads and tails, and I would agree with you. That's what I'm saying. The distinction between what's rational, like rational decisions people make, are typically when they don't have. I would say it's also rational when you have a full set of information, but in many cases that's not how it is.
Sure. Okay.
Like, can I ask you, would I'm assuming you think that like a religious person is irrational, right?
No.
Okay, fair enough. Like I said, it was an assumption, and I don't know you yet. Um, yeah, so I guess the rationality is an interesting thing, and
Yeah.
purpose is an interesting thing.
I think
And
I think most people are generally rational, and everyone's irrational at times.
for
And
sure,
there's going to be like it's a gradient. Like there's some people that are like super rational and their irrationality just rarely comes up, and then there's some people whose irrationality comes up all the time, and then most of us sit somewhere in the middle.
oh man, 100% agree with you, man. So, is your and again, I don't know like the full backstory on your belief system or anything like that. Um, yours is just like a lack of knowledge, right? Like that's what you, yeah, that's totally fine. So, I think it's like a leap of faith, and some people call it comfort, like a utilitarian would say that. We got this fella in here, atheist teacher, and he's super smart. He's from the Philippines, and he does like the real debates where it's in an academic setting and there's a timer and they prepare their argument.
Yeah, formal debates.
Right, wicked smart guy. And the only reason I made like the academic distinction is because like I think if Christopher Hitchens and John Lennox are speaking, like it's still semi-formal, right? Not necessarily like a sport, right?
Mm-hmm.
And are you into debate?
That's complicated. I think like Christopher Hitchens and John Lennox, like those kind of debates are pretty interesting. The stuff like you see on like modern day debate, I think those are just popularity contests, and it's all about the rhetoric and not about any substance. And I find those to be pretty frustrating most of the time to watch.
Like a Andrew Wilson style, like entertainment debate thing?
Yeah, like basically any time I've watched a modern day debate or Standing for Truth or any one of those kind of like style of debates, and Andrew Wilson's been on both of those, I think. But anytime I watch those kinds of debates, I just feel like it's kind of not worth my time, and I'll only go there if I like one of the like I'm wanting to support one of the people that's debating.
Yeah, fair enough, man.
I feel like they're not really caring about those debates. Aren't about substance. Those debates are about rhetoric, and I'm not interested in rhetoric.
Yeah, and then in like a really academic sense too, like those people don't even necessarily care. It's just like a sparring match of sorts, you know. Oh, but what I was gonna say is like he's a utilitarian, and so he's not even concerned with uh, absolute truth or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
He really doesn't care, because he's just looking for whatever suits people, like whatever helps them kind of make it through, kind of like a pessimistic approach where, hey man, whatever you got to do to endure this existence,
Sure,
I'm all for it, you know. And that's a choice too, right? And I think that the pessimists, it's a rational choice, right? The pessimist, like your Schopenhauer or whatever, he is leaning, he has a belief, even though he can't prove there's no point to any of this. And I would say even there, you end up with it. And I'm not saying you're doing this, obviously. Like I said, I did make an assumption just to clarify. A lot of times people attack the concept of faith. I don't know how they get out of it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So, like, I tried to take my leaps of faith as minimal as possible, at least as far as I can tell. Like, I take it on faith that I'm talking to another mind right now. And I take it on faith that, like, the external world exists. And is, like, works on regularity, right? Um, I try to build my worldview around as few of those types of leaps of faith as I can. But yeah, you're right. I'm going to have to take something on a leap of faith, and the only self-evident truth I know of is that something exists because I'm having experiences, and that couldn't be possible if nothing existed.
Right. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. But I was gonna say, like, I sometimes talk to people and then they're like, they're faith bashers, and I think it was the day before yesterday, we were sitting here doing like the etymology of the word, what faith even comes from and means in the first place. And
Well,
it's like
I'm a bit of a
in a script.
postmodernist when it comes to words. Like, I don't care what the etymology of a word is. I care how it's used today.
Oh, I feel you. I feel you. The reason why we were looking at that, we're trying to see what was the purpose of it even existing in the first place. And I agree, kind of like we were just having that discussion with Zilla, and he was suggesting that there's only like one definition of a word or something, I think is what he was getting at. And to me, it just comes down to like efficiency. We could call anything anything.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as we know we're talking about the same thing, then that's acceptable. So that's why for me, suggesting a definition that I'm using, I don't think it's underhanded at all. I think it's actually clarifying
Yeah,
my stance.
yeah, I
You know what I
agree.
mean?
Yeah, I agree. And but we can't do that all the time. Like, to me, what you do is you go along assuming that the words I'm using, you understand the same definitions, and only when it becomes an issue, like I'm like, okay, well, what he's saying doesn't make sense if he has the same definition that I have. So let's clarify the definition now. That's how I operate typically. But yeah, I would agree with you that there isn't just one definition. Oh, and you feel free to crib this if you like, but I like to call language bad telepathy, because the point of language is to get the concept in my head. It's not to use it correctly. The point of language is to get the concept in my head into your head. That's the only reason to have language at all. But it does so very poorly.
Yeah, dude, I would totally agree with that. Um, it's interesting, but like I think you said this a second ago. Like when we're in a debate, that's what I kind of saw with this atheism is a cult debate over like the last 96 hours, is that it ends up like either defining itself out of existence to where there's no argument, so to speak. Um, which I don't know if that's the point. And that's kind of why I'm using like I said, it's just an intuitive use of the term cult, right? When I'm using it.
Mm-hmm.
And I clarify it specifically so they know what I mean. And then they would say, because like if you end up with the everything's a cult, well then this is a pointless debate. If you end up with nothing's a cult, this is a pointless debate. So you kind of have to agree on some term that leads to something,
Sure.
right? Or it's absolutely a waste of time for everybody involved. And I also don't I don't care about changing anybody's mind. I'm kind of just trying to one, I like to debate, so it's fun to sharpen my skills. And I've never done a debate where I prepared for it or anything like that. That it like defeats the purpose. Like it's not a championship or something for me where I'm trying to win. It's like more like a scrimmage to increase my fundamentals, So that's just that's the purpose of it for me.
Sure.
And that's a choice, right? I think purpose is really interesting because unless I'm the guy, right? And you could even say, oh, it's subjective or whatever. Like if I designed a hammer and then you end up using it different than I do, it's hard to say you didn't find a purpose in that hammer. But is it my purpose? Like, is it the objective purpose of it? I could have made it as an art piece or something like that. So it gets tricky, and what it comes down to is that utilitarian stance. It's like whatever works for you is what it is. So that's why I end up at personal God is a very rational idea. I can't prove it, so I'm just open to it, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. I don't really have a dog in the fight.
Oh,
Um,
that's sorry. That's what I was going to ask you. So, like, with your view of history, that you just kind of, it sounded like you just kind of deny all history because you have no experience of it and you can't do a test on it, right? Is that
I wouldn't. I wouldn't say I deny it. I would say it's not a useful metric or like it could be evidence. Sure, that's why I say like for my stance of the Bible, because I do love the Bible. I think it's an awesome piece of literature. I treat it as mythology personally, but
Mm-hmm.
some other people could use it however they find purpose in it again. So it's like George Washington definitely could have existed. it's a rational choice based on the evidence you have because we both can't prove it,
Mm-hmm.
right? But to say you can prove it, now it's like, well, we're on equal footing at that point. So who's got the rational position? Well, both of us have rational positions because we can't prove it. Does that clarify anything?
Maybe. So,
Sorry.
okay, so how do you prove something in like if you had to say here's the steps to prove something, what would those steps be?
It would be like find out if it's logically necessary. Like it could not be any other way.
That's how you prove it is if it's logically necessary.
Right.
Okay.
Because that's the only, and we're already taking the leap of faith that logic is even consistent or true or exists or not, right? I agree to that. The reason I use that is because if you go any deeper than that, then I'm having a discussion with somebody who doesn't even believe they exist. So I'm okay with that being the result of the discussion. But it's kind of it's like sawing your own legs off to run away from the fight, you know?
Mm-hmm. So, is it logically necessary that Niddy exists?
I didn't hear the word before exists. Sorry.
Niddy, the guy that was on earlier.
Oh, I don't think so.
So, do you believe he exists?
Yeah, it's a leap of faith.
Okay. And do you think the existence of God is logically necessary?
It depends on the definition of God, right? But yeah, I think that a prime mover is logically necessary.
Okay. And do you think the prime mover has a mind?
Uh, I'm inclined to believe so, and I think with metaphysics, or like Aristotle's view on it, I think for my money, he did prove it's logically necessary.
Okay. So a god with a mind is logically necessary in your view.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Because what you come up to is this like well, that's not what we mean by mind game, right? And it's like a semantic argument. And then I say, well, like, does the source of all consciousness have consciousness? I mean, you could say no, I suppose, but what better example of consciousness could you give than all of consciousness? You see what I'm saying?
Sure. Okay. Well, so that answers my question I was trying to get to, which is like if you deny the like history, how do you get to a god? But you've delineated that it's whatever's logically necessary, and you see God as logically necessary. So that I was just kind of like, well, how does he deny or withhold belief on Alexander the Great or anything else in history, but God exists? Like that didn't make sense to me.
No,
Yeah.
that's totally fair. Some people do take the historicity argument all the way to Jesus was a deity type of thing. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I don't. I think it's a weird. That's not how I would argue for it personally, but people people have a lot of faith in history. You know.
I mean, I think it depends on how you define faith. I think there's a preponderance of evidence that like George Washington existed, and it seems to be like if I were doing a Bayesian analysis, there's more the prior possibility plus all the evidence results in a reasonably high probability that George Washington exists. So I believe in it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the same thing I tried to do the same thing for God. Like I can't do that. I can't do a Bayesian analysis on God because I have no way to set the prior probabilities at all. because I can't calculate that for anything supernatural.
Right. And I think that's kind of what metaphysics goes for, right?
Well, metaphysics
Like,
is just a study of what exists.
Right, but not only what physically exists.
No, it can be. Like if metaphysics is just that physical stuff exists, that's still metaphysics. That's what metaphysics is. It's just how many kinds of stuff exists.
Right. Just Okay, yeah. It would be the same thing, is what you're saying.
What's that? Well, metaphysics is the study of how many kinds of stuff exist. So, like, if there's a spirit stuff, that's part of metaphysics. But if there's only physical stuff, that's also just metaphysics. Metaphysics is in popular culture, like metaphysics is this thing where it's like supernatural, but really all it is the study of things, what kinds of things exist. And then supernatural can come off of metaphysics depending on what exists. Like if non-physical stuff exists, some of that could be supernatural stuff.
Right. I would say that in a sense, supernatural, depending on what we're calling nature, because some people would say nature is just that which physically exists. I would think it is what reality is. Right.
Yeah. I agree with you. That's why I tried to define earlier. To me, supernatural is a non-physical cause. So like if there is other stuff besides physical stuff, it's a cause coming from that other stuff is a supernatural cause.
Yeah, that's a fair definition. I would call that not supernatural. Right?
Okay.
Because it would be the nature of it would be reality.
Sure. Yeah. That would be part of reality, so it would be natural. So I get where you're coming from.
It's cool. Yeah, I have no problem with the definition you're using. What else could we talk about?
I don't know, but actually I do need to cut it short, or not too short, but it is time for me to head to bed. But
Fantastic.
I did subscribe to your channel, and if you do this again, I might drop by.
Yeah. If you have a channel, please feel free to drop it, and I'll go sub to you too. And it was a pleasure meeting you, bro. And I hope to talk to you.
It's just Phantom X11 on YouTube.
Perfect, man. I'll look it up right now.
All right, sounds good.
Have a nice night, bud.
You too.
Bye-bye.